Salvete omnes. Before we start, I'd like to give a shout out to my patrons. I really appreciate your support. Thanks so much. Let's briefly review the 3 easy conjugations of the perfect past tense. Remember, these refer to actions completed in the past. Say, I worked in Italy. In Italia laboravi. And now I went to school. Ad scholum ivi. And I had a good teacher. Bonum magistrum habui. And do you remember the 2 words that meant better than? Melius quam. Look at the next sentence. Valentina Melius quam maximus natare potest. Valentina can swim better than Maximus. Try to say now, I can read better than you. Ego Melius quam tu legere possum. And try to guess the last word in the next sentence. Hic liber est Melius quam iste. This book is better than that one. We use hic and haec to refer to things near us, and iste and ista to refer to things near the listener. Similar to this and that, but a little different as we'll see later. Concentrating on the genders, try to say now, that letter isn't mine. Ista epistula non mea est. Look at the next sentence now. Istam librum legere valo. As you'd expect, these words have to decline, similar to adjectives. So this is the accusative case of iste, and means, I want to read that book. Using the imperfect tense, try to say now, I was writing that letter. Istam epistulam scrībēbam. And these words can actually be used by themselves. For example, Estne hic gladius tuus, iste non meus est. Is this your sword? That is not mine. So as you can see, iste stands alone in the reply, but refers back to the sword. And notice, the first speaker uses hic because the sword is near him or her, and the person who replies uses iste because the sword is near the first speaker. The next sentence contains a small but really useful word. And if you speak Spanish or French, you'll be able to understand this. De te cogito. I'm thinking of you, or I'm thinking about you. This word de triggers the ablative. But the ablative and accusative of tu are both te, so don't get confused. And likewise for ego, the ablative and accusative are both me, as in the next sentence. Somnia visti de me. You dreamed of me. Can you see the connection to insomnia? Although insomnia means an inability to sleep, somniare means to dream. And do you remember the Latin word meaning to sleep? Dormire. Try to say now, I read a book about a pig. Librum de porco legi. Remember, the ablative of second declension nouns is a long O. Look at this sentence now. Minerva picturam de vita in Olympo formavit. You guess what de vita means? of life. So this sentence means Minerva formed a picture of life in Olympus. Now, can you remember how to say yes in Latin? Ita est. If you remember, this literally means it is so. And which word means so? Ita. The next sentence will begin to explain Arachne's name. Ita dea Minerva quam in Arachnēm mutavit. So the goddess Minerva changed the girl into a spider. The word Arachnē means spider in Latin, but the word arachnid is derived from her name instead of the Latin word. This story was meant to explain how spiders acquired their web-spinning ability. Before we start the story, try to recall the words in the sentence, I was also irate. Quoque irata eram, if you're female, and if you're male, quoque iratus eram. The first two words will be in the story. Okay, we're ready to proceed now, but pay attention to the different tenses used and try to figure out why the imperfect is sometimes used and why the perfect tense is used. Arachnē et Minerva bene laborabant. Minerva picturam pulchram de vita in Olympo formavit. Dende Arachnē quoque picturam pulchram formavit. Et Minerva irata erat, quod pictura perfecta erat. Ita dea Minerva quam in Arachnēm mutavit. And the moral of the story is, don't anger the gods. So did you figure out that in the first sentence, the imperfect was used because it wasn't referring to a completed action? The time was sort of vague. Then we have two sentences in which the action is completed and the perfect is used. Following this, we have two phrases with erat. This is technically the imperfect tense, but it is used for descriptions. The first describes Minerva's state of mind, and the second describes the picture. And the last sentence refers to another completed action with the perfect tense. Okay, we'll play around a little more with iste and ista in the next lesson. As well as continuing these lessons, I'll be adding some videos that review the grammar we've learned so far. So if you'd like a refresher, check out the playlist at the end of this video. On Patreon, each story is consolidated in a single downloadable audio file, together with a full transcript and English translation. The example sentences used in each lesson are also included. There's a link below. Gracias!